Synthetic division. The objective of this video is to divide polynomials using synthetic division. In my previous video, we completed a long division problem. However, we can also do the same problem using synthetic division and arrive at the same answer. However, note synthetic division only works when you are dividing by a binomial, so something like x minus c, where your coefficient is 1. If your coefficient is more than 1 or it's not a binomial, you would have to do long division. So in my case, because I was dividing by x minus 2, I can use synthetic division. So I can basically take every coefficient of my term and replace it with just the number. So 1, -4, 5, -4, and 4. And then I want to divide by the 0. So in this case, my 0 is positive 2 because my factor is x minus 2. And then we are going to bring our first number down. So 1 will come down. And then I will multiply 2 times 1, which gives me 2, and put that answer in my next box. And then I will add. So -4 plus 2 is -2. Again, we're going to multiply. So 2 times -2 is -4 and add. So 5 plus -4 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. -4 plus 2 is -2. And then 2 times -2 is -4. And then 4 plus -4 is 0. My last number is going to be my remainder, and then everything else is just a coefficient of one of my terms. Because I divided by a binomial with a degree 1, I am just going to have one less degree. So if I started off with an x to the 4th, my new term will be x to the 3rd. So my coefficient is 1 minus 2x to the 2nd plus 1x minus 2. My remainder is 0, so I do not need to write it. If you were to watch my first video on long division, you will see we end up with the same answer. So here are basically the algorithm steps for you to use synthetic division. So I'm going to write my coefficients. So 1, 7, 16, and 12. And I want to divide by one of the zeros. So I will divide by -2. Once I've set up my table, I bring down my first inside. So 1, and then I will multiply. So -2 times 1 is -2. 7 plus -2 is 5. -2 times 5 is -10. 16 minus 10 is 6. -2 times 6 is -12. And 12 minus 12 is 0. My last term is my remainder in this case. And then I am going to write my answer as a polynomial. So my first term is going to be an x squared because my original was an x to the 3rd power. And my leading coefficient is 1 plus 5x plus 6. There is no remainder in this case. So now I want to set up my polynomial for synthetic division. So we have 1, 4, 5, 2, and then there is no constant term. And because there is no term, I need a placeholder. So I'm going to put 0 as a placeholder to represent that term that it has no number. And then I am going to divide by one of the zeros. So divide by -1. Bring down my first number. -1 times 1 is -1. 4 minus 1 is 3. -1 times 3 is -3. 5 minus 3 is 2. -1 times 2 is -2. and then 2 minus 2 is 0. Negative 1 times 0 is also 0, so I have a remainder of 0. So the remainder is 0. And now I will write my answer as a polynomial. So I have x to the third power plus 3x squared plus 2x, technically plus 0. However, because my constant is 0, that does not need to be written down. Now you try. Pause your video, try and do this problem, then press play as your answer is correct. Pause your video now. So we will set up our coefficient for synthetic division. So -1, 6, -13, 12, 4, and 0. I will divide by one of the zeros. So that will be 2. Bring down your first number, so -1. 2 times -1 is -2. 6 minus 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. -13 plus 8 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 12 plus 2 is 22. 2 times 22 is 44. 4 plus 44 is 48. 2 times 48 is 84. And then 0 plus 84 is 84. My last term will be my remainder. Up to now, we've had a remainder of 0. So you may not know what to do with your remainder when writing your polynomial. So we're going to continue like we've been doing with everything here. So we're going to start off with a -x to the fourth plus 4x to the third plus 5x squared plus 22x plus 48. And now my remainder, I am going to add 84. However, I need to put that over the factor that we were dividing by. We were dividing by the number 2, which was the 0, meaning x is equal to 2. So the factor was x minus 2. I will put that 84 over x minus 2, the factor, when writing my polynomial.